Join us on Zoom. Good morning, everybody. Good morning to you. We're balancing things over here. We're on Facebook Live. Saying hi to my Facebook Live people this morning on 2026. I want you to put in there 26. Put 26 in the chat. I'm going straight from 5 to 26 today. Put 26 in the chat. Put 26 in the chat, meaning you are happy. You are excited. You are ready to crush it and rock it. What up, Lisa, Jennifer, Monica? Good morning to you. Kimberly's back. Good morning to you. David, what up, brother? Jesse, what up, D? Amanda from Alabama. Can't wait to see you. What up, Fran? Fran's my early bird. She's my early bird. Where's Jackie? Jackie's called me out now. She wanted to know. She texted me like at 4:02, and she goes, are you awake? You said you were going to get up at 3:57. And you know what all? I had such a smile on my face. And I said, you bet your ass I'm up. I was not excited, but I was up. So 3:57 is the new get up time right now, coach. It is the new time. And I'm actually pretty pleasantly surprised. It has been more beneficial than it has been more challenging. I thought I was going to be miserable in the morning. And Jasmine, I'm not going to lie to you. It's been okay. It has been okay. So good morning to y'all. We got a show for you today. Today's going to be a little bit different to the capacity where we got Nashville. Who's coming to Nashville? Put me in the chat. If you are coming to Nashville, if you're thinking about coming to Nashville, I want you to put a 5 in the chat because I'm going to figure out for you to get there. But put a me in the chat if you are coming to Nashville to be a part of this freaking event. It is just going to. Jim Morris and I were talking yesterday. Robert he's our guest today. He's one of our speakers, and it's his building that he has. And I'm going to share with you how I met Robert and how it all came in about. But like, guys, this is going to be freaking amazing. Like, people are like, you're going to do that? I'm like, oh yeah, you better believe I'm going to be doing that. Kimberly, she was on the other day, first time, and she's like, how do I get the link? What do I got to do? She's got 2 dogs. We're trying to figure out her dog situation, but she's like, I think I want in on this thing. So, and I'm going to share with you a story today before I do my affirmation. I'm going to share a story today that many of you have never heard. I've actually never said it before. Happened to me 8 years ago, and I'm about to dive in because the 2 messages I have before we bring Robert on, I think are going to be something that maybe it's speaking to you. So if you're in a position, I really want you to lean in this morning to hear the message, because I think when I heard it, somebody else needs to hear it too. So let's get started. Good morning, everybody. Good morning to y'all. My name is Coach Brock Zivan. It is 2026, the first time that I am on here on 2026. So I'm very blessed and thankful to start new again. We are at episode number 2 of 2026. And I am a life coach, business coach, real estate coach, and a DAD. And I'm blessed and honored to be able to lead again a new journey, a new episode, to meet so many new people. This is a family that is here all to you. If you've been on here before, put a 10 in the chat. Put a 10 in the chat if you've been on here before in some capacity, in some way. That if you've been on here, I don't even care if you were on here for 1 minute. That means a lot to me. So put a 10 in the chat if you've been on here before in some way, some form, and something. And I want you all today, I'm going to be asking you all to do a favor, and I want you to invite somebody. I want you to invite somebody. If I provide something, if one of these leaders provides something for you over the next 250 some episodes that we do, if you get something value out of it, I want you to put a 5 in the chat and tell me that you're willing to invite somebody. Put a 5 in the chat that if you take something from it, one nugget, one single thing, that you are willing to invite somebody on it. Okay, good. For those of you not putting it in the chat, I'm going to look at your names. I'm going to open up my chats here pretty soon. Look at John Hart's already putting 5s in the chat. I like that about John Hart. He's already doing it. He's getting his phone out. He's ready to rock and roll. So let us do our affirmation that we like to do each and every time we're on a Tuesday. Chad Free was so riled up, he forgot about his affirmation yesterday. So let's put it out here. And what I'm going to ask everybody to do, come off of mute. And I want you to say it like you're a freaking bat out of hell right now, that you're blazing, you're ready to go. You might even go a little bit faster. You might speed a little bit, Jasmine and Dusty. So be a little bit careful while you're driving, because I want you to have so much energy that everything that you have, everything that you've been feeling and telling telling yourself that you are going to become this version of you in 2026 is right here going to happen to you. So on the count of three, unmute yourself, and we're going to say it all together. 1, 2, and 3.
Something good is going to happen to me. Something good is going to happen through me.
All right. So that was really good, guys, for 2025. That was really good for 2025. I don't know what the hell happened to y'all in what happened in the last week. Well, maybe we took a week off. I don't know, but I'm just going to be honest with y'all. That didn't really sound very like 2026. So Grace, pull that up again. Get your head out of your tail and freaking really mean it that you're going to do something different in 2026, that you want to take your business, your life, your personal, whatever it is, that you are going to crush it. So on the count of three, really say it, make it feel like it's weird. People are be like, man, Brock, I'm not too sure. I don't care, because you shouldn't care about yourself and your family and your well-being. So on the count of three, let's say it together again. 1, 2, and 3.
Something good is going to happen to me. Something good is going to happen to me.
I don't know about you all, but doesn't that feel a little different? Like the second time compared to Grace, we're good now. I won't make them do it 3 times because they did good the second time around. Jasmine's like, got to put her phone back. She's like, just look at those drivers over there. Like I even threw my phone across the dashboard. That's how excited they were. But that's what you not need to be, all. You need to be crazy. One of the sessions I'm going to talk about next week or then 2 weeks is the difference between being passionate and being obsessed. I'm going to share with you a little bit about that. I'm not going to do it now because today's message is about what happened to me 8 years ago. 8 years ago, I was just about 2 years into my sobriety. And when I was 2 years into my sobriety, I was really working on myself completely. I didn't go to parties. I didn't go to events. Guys, I was one of those functioning alcoholics. I was really good at drinking at all times of the day. Right? If you said to me, let's play beer pong at 8 o'clock in the morning, I'm said, I'm in. I am in. I could do that. So that was my life as a functioning alcoholic. I was doing it constantly. And so I had to really remove everything, every distraction. I had to really lean into myself. After I got into that second year, I said, I need more. There's got to be something else. Now that I've worked on myself, I got to work on my business. So I went into the office at Keller Williams. And I went to go have a conversation with this individual. And I can't make anything I tell you all, God align perfectly. I want you to type in aligned. Put a line in the chat because this message for you today, Robert being on the show today, is true alignment for you in some capacity. So I want you to put a line. And Facebook, I'm looking at you, Facebook too. So don't be bashful. And those watching the recording, I see the recordings. Okay. So at the time, and some of you don't know this, but Wendy Smith, who's my girlfriend at the time, was not. She was in charge of Keller Williams. She was the team leader at Keller Williams. She was not there because she was out on vacation. And so this new lady was stepping in. And I didn't really know her very well, but I went into her office and I said, hey, do you mind if I talk to you for a minute? And so I had a conversation with her and she says to me, what you want to do, this is why I talk about passion versus obsession. She says, what you want to do, nobody around here is doing it. I said, what? I mean, I didn't think I was that crazy, but I guess I sound like I am crazy. She's like, yeah, nobody around here is doing it. You're going to have to call this guy. So I call this guy. And I'm not thinking like he's really going to he's going to respond to me, because let me just tell you, for those of you in real estate, the average real estate over the last 16 months, most agents done 0 transactions. A lot of them have done 4 in the last year. This guy does over 1,000 a year. So I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, well, he's not going to answer his phone. He's not going to get back in touch with me. So I call him. I left him a message. Within an hour, he calls me back. Hey, man, this is Jeff Glover. I was like, oh, Jeff, hey. I said, what's up, man? He's like, I'm doing a summit. Am I speaking to somebody right now? I'm doing a summit this weekend. Why don't you come on up? I was like, well, every excuse. I don't have money. I'm just trying to work on my sobriety. My credit cards are near maxed. Oh, and acting cool. Jeff, where is it? Oh, where is it? Let me just share with you a little bit of something here so you guys can get a little glimpse. It's in the northern part of Michigan in January towards Traverse City. Why don't you come on up? I was like, damn. Can you all see my screen? Can you see that map? Let me just share with you all. Within 3 days, I got in my car. It was below freezing temperatures, let me just tell you. And I got my ass to this conference. There's me driving in the snow. And I sat in the front row. He asked, how many miles did people drive to come to his event? Guess who drove the furthest? Yours truly. Within 3 days, I drove my tail all the way up to Michigan, and I sat in the first row. And it changed my life forever on understanding what it means to be around different people who think totally different than me. And Robert is one of those people, because there's not a lot of people I know who are successful and do the type of business that he does. And when I went up to Michigan and Jeff Glover says, how many people drove this far, this far, this far, and I was the only one standing, that was when God was saying, I'm going to make you rise up, and I got to do it in this order for you to understand what I'm going to do to you. I didn't get it at the time because I was a little peon, and all I kept focusing on was every problem that I had under the sun, not the opportunity that was coming my way. Am I speaking to somebody? And what happened was this morning, on my way at a ridiculous hour that I don't care about anymore, because now at 5 o'clock in the morning, I'm like, damn, I can't believe it's already 5. It changes the way you think. It changes the way you operate. And I heard this message. It gave me goosebumps, just like it happened when Robert, where he is in that exact room that he's in, I'm going to share with you, it changed my life. And so what happened was this morning, I hear a message, and this guy was on here. He says, hey, man, I just got involved with being faith-based and spiritual. And I said a prayer today, and I said, God, if there's something that I'm supposed to do today to touch somebody, please let me know. I'm here, and I'm going to work for you today, and I'm going to work through you. So the guy gets in his car and he's traveling to his event. And on the way to his event, he sees a guy on the side of the road that happens to be a hitchhiker. And how many of you are like, there's no way in hell I'm going to ask a hitchhiker to pick him up? And he had that same feeling and the same thoughts that Robert had when he was going through some trials and some tribulations and some problems in his life and some things that he wasn't too sure. There was something inside of him that had a gut feeling, just like I did when I was like, I don't think I should go to Michigan, but I did anyways, because there was something bigger. And so he turns around, he picks up the hitchhiker, scared out of hell. How many of you are scared? And he's going and he's like, hey, man, you know, I really wasn't too sure to pick you up, to be honest with you. But God told me that I should just pick you up to bring you to your next destination. And I don't know if you believe that type of stuff, but I just want to share with you why I picked you up. The hitchhiker says, stop it. No. Are you serious? And the driver looks over at him and says, why? He says, because my life's a shit show right now, and I'm completely about to go kill myself. And I asked God, if you really care about me and my life, if you really think that there's a bigger version of me, send me a follower so I can believe. Is that you? The driver looks over at him and says, it's got to be me, because I don't know who else is coming. And I was just like blown away, because when I went to Robert's, his I don't know how I got muted, but I'm unmuted now. If you go, and I went to like 4 or 5 places with Jim, and I went into the room that Robert's in right now, and I was trying to figure out where I was going to do this event because I don't like to do it sometimes in normal conferences. And his place spoke to me, but I wasn't too sure quite yet. And I went into the room he's in, and I went into this, and all these books. Oh, Robert, at some point you can pan the room around and you could show everybody how many books are in that room. All these books are in that room. If you can see Robert Hartline, he's one of the screens on here. There's thousands of books. And there was one book sitting on a chair in that room. We walked in and I didn't believe it. I had to come out of the room. I had to hit myself. And I said, Jim, I got to go back in that room. And he says, what, man? I said, this is the place. He says, this is the place. What do you, I mean, we haven't even talked about it. I said, I know this is the place. I said, because let's go back in this room. The one book, I'm not going to get emotional, even though I feel like getting emotional. The one book was The One Thing by Gary Keller. And that book made me stop drinking. Because if I just said, what's the one thing I can do in my life that can transform me and make me a different person? Because I tried everything under the sun. But that book was freaking sitting on the chair out of all those books. I said, this is it. So for any of you who are thinking that you need to be here in some capacity, you don't know how or what, I'm just telling you. There's something magical about Robert and his building and what he brings to the table. Because when I was around this guy, it's like I just met him all. And I feel like I've known him forever on just our conversations. So I know I talked a lot, but I think it was important that you understood exactly what happened to me 8 years ago at an event that I traveled in a car 12 hours because it didn't matter the distance. It didn't matter anything at the time period because I was so focused and committed on what I wanted to do for the next part of my life. And then when I heard the story this morning that somebody here needed to hear this, that you were going to make an impact and I'm going to make an impact in you and Robert's going to make an impact in you, that you needed to hear the whole story and everything about it. Because the message is for you, whoever it is that needed to hear it today. And you better get your tail to Nashville in his building because it is magical and it will transform you and all the speakers and leaders. So without further ado, because I've taken up so much time, please welcome, with my love and my heart on how he's transformed me, and I can't wait to see you next week. Put a 5 in the chat, put some love in the chat for my main man, Robert Hartline. Good morning, brother.
Dude, that was a freaking great story. Like, you taking me along for that ride, like, I have so much joy. I'm so thankful. Thank you for sharing that. And this place, Brock, if I were to tell you the stories of synchronicities that are happening for me, no one would believe. No one would believe. The only people that really know that are around me are my leaders that I've brought together to make this place possible. So thanks so much for including me this. Thank you so much for this group of people that are going to come experience what Nashville has to offer.
Man, it is, guys. It is. And for those of you born in the 80s or 70s or 60s, like the whole thing is filled with like so much memorabilia, so many cool things like radios and computers like we used to see. And it just like, and I told you guys in the video that we did on his place, like the walls will speak to you before somebody does. There will be something that will happen to you and you haven't even had a conversation. You're going to think about your youth and you're going to think about your past. So with that, I know we're very limited on time here, Robert, but kind of give us a 10,000 overview of who you are and your journey about you on your success and kind of where you are today. So then that way we can learn a little bit about you.
Yeah. I'll just make it brief. I grew up in Germany, and in the summers I would go to my grandmother's house in Rome, Georgia. And in 1984, I was watching MTV. Now, I watched MTV when MTV played music videos, right? And there was a tourism commercial on MTV from Nashville, Tennessee. It was called All Roads Lead to Nashville. To make a super long story short, it's the goofiest tourism commercial ever. But if you hear a commercial long enough, it will seep in your subconscious. And when I was graduating high school, I wanted to be in the music business. And where do you want to go if you want to be in the music business? But Nashville, Music City, USA. And something a lot of people don't realize about Music City and why Music City is even Music City. Back in the 1920s, there was a insurance company called WSM. It stands for We Shield Millions. And they constructed the first AM radio tower in the United States. That radio tower spread the word of the Gospels, of music, information, news, comedy, storytelling, all throughout Canada and the United States. So people have been flocking to Nashville since the 1920s. If you could go back in the 1920s, what did everybody do when they got done from a long day at work? They got around a radio and they listened, right? And so people have been coming here since then. And understand what happens when you travel. Do you know what happens when you travel? You enter an altered state. You get to a state where you start to see your life in perspective in a different possible way. You look at it and like, do I like what I'm doing? Do I like how I'm doing it? Do I like the people I'm with? Do I need new people in my life? Who do I need to shed to get to this next version? It is a way to get into an altered state without any drugs, without any alcohol. It's real, folks. The most transformational things I've ever done in my life was as a result of moving my body to a new place with new people, with new ideas and new inspiration and possibility. Long story short, I started a wireless company I was running this company for about 12 years, not loving life, drinking a lot, trying to cope, trying to understand who I was. And instead of trying to understand who I was, I just drank my fear. I drank my insecurity. I drank my stress. I drank when I had a good day. I drank when I had a bad day. I was always drinking. And my wife wanted to do a 30-day sobriety program with me, just to do 30 days sober. And the very last day of my sobriety, I was already planning on what I was going to order for dinner. I love steak. I love red wine. And that day before, a very close friend of mine died in a car accident. After drinking and driving, she left her 13-year-old son. And I could only take that as a sign. You know, had she died 3 days earlier, maybe I wouldn't have made the connection, but it spoke to me, and I knew that was the shift I needed to take. I got sober, and I read a book called Traction. I'm an EOS, which stands for the Entrepreneur Operating System. It is essentially a operating system on how to scale and grow my business. I had three things I wanted to do. One, I was separated from my wife at the time. I wanted to save my marriage. Two, I wanted to move my family to Costa Rica. Three, and I wanted to grow the business to 100 million in sales. And I did that within 3 years. We became the fastest growing company 2 years in a row in Nashville, Tennessee. And moved to Costa Rica. I was on a show called House Hunters International, picking out our house. There's a story behind that. But long story short, sobriety helped me to build a relationship with who I am. Mm-hmm. And in 2020, I sold my business, and there was a bit of darkness for me, to be real. There was a bit of lost. And you know what I did? I picked up weed, and I started using weed. and I thought it was a godsend for me. And it was once a week. Then it became twice a week. Then it became every day. And because of pens, it made it so easy to do it several times a day. And then I was doing it when I woke up. I was doing it before I went to bed. I was doing it all the time. And long story, I had a very similar situation that I won't go into that made me realize that I needed to quit that. So I'm on a 2-step sobriety journey. But I will tell you this quick little story. I became a breathwork facilitator. And in the very first day of training, I was breathing and I saw a place that I was going to be performing breathwork where I could build a wellness center and entrepreneurs to come hang out, cold plunge, sauna, connect, share their visions, help support each other, be inspired. And this place came available. And it's a crazy story, but they were building this place about 18 months ago. And I went to them and said, guys, I'd love to build a community out of here. Include me. And they said, no, Robert, we got it. And I said, nope, no worries. I know how the universe works. I know how God is like waiting for the right possible moment. And a few months ago, the guys reached out and said, hey, it's not working, whatever. And I said, great, let's do this. And so it's very scary, but at the same time, it's perfectly right. And I'm excited to see all of you next week.
I love it, man. I wrote down these 2 things that I want to share with everybody. One, I told y'all, I don't know too many $100 million people. And just to hear your success of where you've grown from in a short period of time, 5s in the chat and a round of applause, because, it's not easy, right? There's no easy button. There's no easy path. Now, for some of you on here, I wrote down this relationship of who you are. You don't have to be an addict. You don't have to be any of these type of these like, well, I don't have these type of, you got to understand. We all can have a relationship with ourselves. Yes or yes. And in this moment, some of you need to self-reflect. I was listening to Eric Thomas, looking in the mirror, and go have a conversation with yourself when you get done this and be like, where am I? Who am I? Who am I supposed to become? What version am I? Am I putting out the best version of myself? And when you reflect and you look back at it, you're like, no, damn, I'm not even close to my potential. Because distractions and drugs and different things, whatever it might be, your phone is a drug, all. Whether you like it or not, for those that are scrolling and looking at things, it's a drug because the endorphins come inside of us on how we scroll and look at things. And it's taking away from your family, yourself, and your well-being. And the last thing that I'll share is the steps. See, sometimes we might not be able to see the entire staircase. Many times we can't. But what we can see is the first step. And Robert, it might have taken you 1, 2, 3, 4, but it's the environment and the people you're around that help you continue to grow to be that $100 million successful entrepreneur and to do what you're doing, because you're not taking this money and you're not going on like these crazy vacations and seeing you on boats and yachts and having crazy stuff happening. You're pouring it back into the community. And that's why I love your venue and how you are using it to help other people, and you use your story and you speak to other places. So Robert, in a 1-minute type of thing, what do you want to leave us with today for those that are thinking about coming to Nashville, aren't too sure, have more excuses than they have anything else? What's the one thing you want to leave us with today before we come see you next week?
You're going to get to the space, and I don't know who it will be for you, but there will be someone either on stage or that you're sitting next to while you're getting coffee that you connect to that is going to help you shift. The shift happens through storytelling. When you get open and honest with people that are living life in a different level, and you get deep with them and ask that one question, what was that thing that made you make that decision? Because we're all sitting with one decision away from radically changing your life. That one thing that you're carrying around like a monkey And it is just right there, and you can't decide between A or B, right? And if you get deep with someone and they go deep and they say why they made that change, and you ask them the follow-up question, which is, why is that significant? Go deeper, go deeper, go deeper, because inside another person's story is your story. When you can get that confidence that you know, because we all have our answers are all within. You don't need anybody outside of you to tell you the way. The way is within. And when you start to understand the mechanics of how that works, and kind of the topic I'll talk about is a bit of love, but how to practice love, how to use love energy in your day-to-day to attract all the opportunities that you wish to get. But when you finally make that decision that you know you need to make, it is like turning off your computer and turning it on, and the machine, you just work so much more efficiently with all those tabs, all those undecided decisions wiped clean so you can start anew. You will come away with one decision that would radically change your life by coming together with that many people, that much high vibration in a room. When you're around people that are willing to get in a freaking plane or drive a long distance, those people vibrate at another level. When you're around other people that are vibrating at another level, you will vibrate at another level. That's just how the universe and frequencies work.
I love it. I was getting goosebumps. Get goosebumps. Guys, put a 5 in the chat. Put a 5 in the chat that you got something out of today in some way, in some impact. Put a 5 in the chat if you're going to tell somebody, you're like, shit, I got to really figure out what I'm going to do now. I really got to get there. I got to invite, one more person. I got to invite 2 more people to this. They got to be around this, because this is what it's all about. And this is just a taste of what Robert's going to bring to the table when we come and see, because then when you get into lunch breaks and you're having a normal break and you get there early and you're at the happy hour and you're hanging out and you're asking like these intimate questions and details, it becomes something that, like Robert said, you'll take away because you're operating at a different frequency. Guys, I can't wait. Robert, I appreciate you, man. I can't wait to see you. I appreciate you opening up your building for us and just really embracing us, and just really, guys, I'm freaking rearranging his whole building. Like, I gotta move chairs and tables, and like it's like the whole thing. And I just appreciate you, Robert, letting us come in here and mi casa su casa, and you truly are that. And I want to thank you tremendously.
Thank you. Looking forward to it, Brock. Let's do it.
All right, all guys, we put the link in there. We'll do 50% off today till 9:30 Eastern time, Nash 50. If you know somebody, copy paste that link, send it to them. They have till 9:30 a.m. to get their tails there in some capacity, in some way. I appreciate you all. God bless you. We'll be back tomorrow morning at 8:15 Eastern time. And for most of you, I'll see you in Nashville in just a short period of time. Till then, see ya.